take, you should have copies of the minutes from the last meeting there you can look over. Okay, any corrections, additions to the minutes? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I second
Okay, all in favor? Okay, I do have a question about the minutes though. Is Cornerstone done with their repair work to the HVAC units?
As far as I know, but I haven't received any bill.
Okay.
It's just worrisome. I don't know how much it's gonna be.
It'll be fine. One other thing, and we don't have to vote on this tonight, I just want you to start thinking about it. We got the old doctor's office that the Lions Club purchased. And then the current agreement is the township was gonna buy that reimburse the Lions Club, and the township was gonna own it. But what's going on with the townships now, and there's not a rush, this isn't probably gonna happen for maybe till 2030. I think we ought to consider the town reimbursing the Lions Club so we can control the building and we don't have whoever the township trustee is in Rochester or wherever who doesn't care about our town in control of it. So just think about that and we'll vote on that sometime in the future. As far as I know, did you get everything you needed out of the old town hall building?
Pretty much till Matt's out of there, then I could have more.
Okay. And we should be getting his desk and stuff soon?
It was supposed to come tomorrow. It was supposed to come last week and it was delayed.
Okay. So we're a week or two away from shutting off the utilities.
He said I could, yeah, I'm not sure if you want to get everything out of the building first.
I don't.
Electricity.
You have a freezer in there, I think.
I took the freezer out, the refrigerator's still there, I think.
Okay, do you want that refrigerator?
I'll have to check, if not, we'll get it out there anyway, dispose of it or whatever we need to do.
Okay, well, we could shut the power off and if that's still sitting in there, because,
that's no problem.
you know, I haven't got back to Mitch about tearing it down. We gotta get something done with the water tank and the pump and stuff.
Yeah,
Get that moved into the fire station or something.
yeah, I'd seen Rusty, he talked about, they were gonna shut that water off whenever you were ready.
Okay,
Right.
I just needed to call him. A lot of stuff happened in the last week, so.
What about those metal cabinets that were in there? Did you keep those or gonna keep them or what?
Well, we kept the old metal hutch, I think that's kinda neat.
Yeah, that was in
And I
Marshall's
think-
office.
You got everything you wanted,
Right.
right?
The Lions Club was welcome to use them.
Yeah.
There's,
Who knows where,
there's three, there's two that are empty, and then the one has bathroom supplies since Matt's still there.
Yeah, I was gonna take those cleaning supplies out, take them over to the other building. But I wouldn't mind taking those cabinets if we're gonna get rid of them.
okay. There's an old nasty file cabinet down in the basement too that, I mean, it's functional yet, but it's just old and kinda rusty, and there's kind of a neat piece of international harvester literature in there.
Oh, might give that to James Fred, probably like that.
Yeah, evidently the town had
They had an international tractor years ago.
yeah, it's probably from that, and I don't remember if it was for a snow blade or the tractor or what, but
Yeah,
that and there was like some old light bulbs or something in there, that was about it,
let Mitch take them to the landfill.
yeah.
Since we're a town, how do we go about disposing of things? You know, like the old desks that no one wants, do we need to see if someone will buy them like an auction or
We can,
scrap or?
yeah, I think as old as they are, we just need to, however we dispose of them, we just need to get them off of the inventory.
Consider having an auction.
I don't know if they give much for anything really from
Yeah, I
the,
don't think it'd be worth most of that stuff.
the two desks are so heavy.
I wouldn't be surprised if those desks didn't come out of the old high school here.
They're heavy.
Okay,
They're-
if it's like gonna be more, disposal value, then I think you should probably, I think the best way to do that is to have the town council approve a list of those items. And whether it's prepared by, you know, a town employee or whatever, a list of those items and determine basically they're of no market value and we need to dispose of them.
They're old and nasty, you wouldn't want them in your business or your home
Okay.
or.
Okay.
I wouldn't want them in your garage.
They're sturdy.
Yeah, they are sturdy, they're heavy, but
Yeah, I
they're
don't
just
get them out of
nasty.
the room. I mean, it's gonna be with the building the way it is.
Yeah, those look like old teacher's desks to me.
Or, and after you do that, you could say, that the town approves disposal by any means, you know, that the
Okay.
town says. And then you could let the paper know that anyone who wants to come get one, can have one for free. You might get someone to take the labor off your hands of loading the truck.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Next thing we got here is we need to,
You said that for me for the minutes.
I guess,
Thank you.
give myself a stamp, man.
Right. Thank you.
Where's our resolution? We need to vote on that.
Well, Heather was supposed to come, so.
Well, that's all right, we can proceed without her. We had this, it's, ordinance number 4-21 2026. This is the ordinance that I read last week, or last meeting, last month. An ordinance adopting amendments in data center permit approvals. So, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 4-21 26? Or we talked about this last week and we lined the dates up with the county.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's what Andy advised us on as
Yeah.
well, so I make a motion that we accept it, I guess.
Okay,
And I second.
all right, all in favor? Now, I think there's a couple copies here and you both need to sign them. I'm actually surprised there weren't people here to argue with us tonight.
Well, Marshall County just put it into their argument, they just abolished all data center entries into the county, period.
And it's down there where it says number. Andy, did you have anything before we get to the financial stuff?
No, I did not have anything.
Phil, did you have anything?
No, we're thinking about, getting the, flower pots out sometime next month, but, we'll let you know. We get things planted and that.
Brian, oh, I made a couple executive decisions this week. We have some damaged shingles up here, and I had a guy come look at it, and they're gonna fix it, they're just gonna need time and material. So I can't think it'd take more than a day and a bundle or two shingles, so it shouldn't amount to anything. And then we got some dead bushes out here, they're boxwoods, and I talked to, my nephew.
Ryan Passion.
Yeah, he has, Spring Creek Nursery there, Logansport, and they're gonna come and take those boxwoods out, and they're gonna replace it with something called
Live bush.
cat something, or cat mint. We have some at our house, and they get about yay high, and they get purple flowers on them. And then at the end of the year, you can just cut them back. And though they're perennials, they'll come back, and then the salt's probably not gonna affect them or anything. And if his guys come and take those old ones out, plant the new ones, they're warranted.
Yeah.
So, and then I asked him about these hydrangeas out here, and he looked at them and said, no, they're okay. They just come out of it late, so, because they look kinda ugly right now. And then we got some stuff over here where the fence, and Brian's gonna get that fence repaired down there. There's some landscaping type plants in there, and we're just gonna transplant them over here someplace, rather than spray them and kill them.
Could we have him put some stone in front of the storage building over there? It's down about that far from the cement.
Okay, I talked to you about this, we almost have too much stone out here, because the stone is higher than the concrete, so everything's washing up on the concrete. You might, that new concrete that you guys poured at the church building today, you might wanna think about that too.
Yeah, I talked to Scott Fred about that earlier. They got that pretty high, but
So he's got a grater box, and he's gonna come over here and try to make some improvements on that, so. Okay, get that done. Here, I'll share this with you. This is the results of our annual report, and this gets submitted to the State Board of Accounts.
I have to turn it into Gateway, let's see.
Okay, so that's State Board of Accounts,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
state
yeah, it's
government.
State board, it's state board.
Okay. You guys can look at that.
I think they all got one, I believe. Did you get a sheet? Maybe not. No. I think I have it here for you. You each can keep a page, keep it for you.
Would you like for me to sign this one and give it back to you? Initial it?
Sure.
And that is the same as.
Yes, I think there's another page just like that underneath it.
Okay,
But
okay.
you
Did
can
you
have
have
it.
stuff?
You want it now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you have anything else other than
Um,
financial stuff?
Here is the estimate for, when we had the air units down for having the thermostats being Wi-Fi and where no one can touch them, but I think it's too expensive when we don't know, our other bill for the air units being repaired yet, but it was dated April 2nd, but
So the total cost is all these three things added together?
This one says quantity, so I'm not sure if you times it by a certain amount.
Okay,
Yeah, it was gonna be in the thousands, but I'm,
let's just table that for right
Right.
now.
it'd be fine.
Hopefully, so far this spring, we've gotten through no major disasters with the sewer, which is a good thing. Just so you know, sometimes that when spring rolls around, we have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on fixing and replacing stuff with the sewer. So far this year, so good.
Good.
Yeah, it's a money pit.
We used to, or use a forgivable loan.
Yeah.
Before that, we've had the American Rescue Plan we used for the sewer, so those two from the government money really helped for the
I mean,
sewer.
one spring, this was several years ago, we had to spend $70,000 replacing and fixing stuff, bringing stuff up to date. Part of that was because our former town employee let stuff go.
I see.
Instead of fixing stuff, just an example, the lift station there in town, instead of fixing stuff, he just took the bulbs out of the warning lights. So hang on to that thing from, Cornerstone because,
Alrighty,
I'm sure prices will increase, but
right,
that ought to be a pretty good baseline. Just these things, we did the annual report.
yes, this is just, when I shut down the computer, it prints out everything for all the totals and,
Okay,
but it
right.
had, for the annual report paper, for the newspaper, it pretty much is the same thing.
So these are the rest of the reports, financials.
The normal,
right?
yes, and the American, or the forgivable loan also.
Okay.
Kathy Adams said, our forgivable money needs to be used up by the end of the year.
What will be?
Just
We're,
double check it.
tearing that old building
Right,
down,
right.
so to use all of it and then some, so that'll take care of most of it.
On this annual report, excuse me if I interrupt you, but what's the riverboat wagering?
We get
You get
money for
tipping
gambling,
fees like from the landfill? I mean, that same style?
gambling, yeah.
That type of money?
Yeah, that state revenue and they share that. We also occasionally get like $6 or something from opioid fines
I see
from,
that.
yeah,
I see that.
that helps out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Nice stamps for that.
Oh, sorry.
At one time, we considered putting a rowboat on Mill Creek
Right.
and starting our own casino.
Right.
So here's those.
Tim, just for an update, we talked to the contractor for the power to go out to the shed, and he's supposed to start sometime this month.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Well, that power originally was left on the end of the building there for fish fries.
That's what I thought. So
But
that
we've never had one since because I'm not sure why. Maybe because we can't get enough help, or you can't get enough help, or because it's really not a moneymaker anymore.
the Lions Club thought about it, but Grass Creek does theirs twice a year. We kind of felt like we'd be in competition with them. We didn't.
Well, and they're making less and less money each time because the cost goes up.
Right. Yeah, they were $13, I think, last time.
Yeah.
Charged.
And, there aren't as many loyal people that would come to them anymore. Yeah, if you'd offer them free tickets, they'd probably show
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, the whole fish fry thing is just not the same since the Jonah Club quit doing it. So, financial.
We are also talking to another vendor about putting the Lions Club and the church signs up in both of the soundings in town. You know, the school originally started that project and they backed off.
Yeah, they didn't, the principal wouldn't approve it.
Yeah, so we took it over, but the guy that initially started our bids and everything, his equipment broke down, he hasn't fixed it, so we're looking at a different vendor to get those signs done.
Yeah, I have a little bit of heartburn, you know, the principal that commutes from Plymouth. Not really part of the community.
Probably won't stay long.
I think she will.
It's convenient though, come down 31, be here in 30 minutes or so.
Right. But you know, if you're the principal, there's a lot of late nights and a lot of stuff going on.
Board meetings and such.
Yeah. Well, athletic events and graduations and music performances and plays and what do you want me to sign? X?
Yeah,
How many X's are in here?
I think that's all, just the next
There's-
one's, yeah, that's the only one, and then the bank statements are the next. Yeah.
So I need a motion to, acknowledge the financials.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge it.
Okay,
I second it.
all in favor? Okay. Heather must have forgot about us, huh?
I didn't talk to her, I mean, she
I
said
think
she was on
mostly she just wanted to be
schedule.
here if you had any questions.
Right.
There's that, and I need a motion for Val to giving her permission to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye. That's all correct.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
There's more entries, like Duke Energy, I'm paying them online, and it's like each one, so there's, usually
That's why
it's
the
like,
file's thicker.
right, I think so. It's just Duke Energy so far. And then I had, mentioned about the USDA loan, December 31st, the bottom is what the balance is.
Okay. Well, I think that started out as $1 million. This was our sewer loan.
I think it says on the other side, is it 409 or?
Okay, 409,000. Okay, plus I think we got a grant for 500,000.
Did you?
So it's down to 207,000.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. So is this what we're paying annually here?
That will be due September first. That's a
All right.
total. The principal's up here, 13,000. The interest is $4,657.57. And that's what I paid the interest of $46.57.50 in March.
Okay,
We pay interest twice a month, twice a year, and then our principal with the interest in September.
Would you say it's an annual payment or biannual?
Just once a year. The interest is twice a year, but just,
so they can make loans to other people. I was, this has been a few years ago, I was down by Whitestown. And I saw a big billboard there. There was a whole subdivision that was financed, a new subdivision built and financed by the USDA. So that was more than, obviously, $409,000.
Mhm.
Anything else? Hey, did you, any more on the changing these lights out?
Well, no, just because you said that you had to check on zoning and so on, if it would project out or bother anybody, which, you know, we can always come up with some form of light. They don't have to flood all that, it's just something to try.
I was gonna ask Heather about that tonight, but she's not here, and I was gonna ask her about
But
something.
I've looked at, you know, different options, obviously, tying into the existing building without running wiring out there to poles. Putting one here to project out, there's quite a few different options that we have.
And I think,
I don't
you
have
know,
really
if
done
we
it,
could
we'll figure.
maybe aim them down a little bit, so they're just projecting on the parking lot, not in people's windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'd say
We'll
go
put some,
ahead.
yeah, LED prices together is what we're gonna put together and try to see
Okay.
what those.
Well, there's, you know, it's getting to the point where it's gonna be daylight till
That's the way we like it.
9:30 or 10 o'clock, so.
Yeah.
I bought some from Randy Gunner, and I put them in my building down there, just past the Dollar General, they're down lighting, and they've got LEDs in it.
Yeah,
And they were pretty economical, I think I paid like $20 for those lights, and they spread the light clear out on the driveway out there.
yeah, LED definitely the way to go.
Okay,
Of course, you gotta get somebody to install them, so that costs a little bit.
if there's nothing
I have
else.
one
Okay,
question
go ahead.
for you that I've been addressed about, we've been obviously, you know, we take care of, we provide internet connection and, for Keystone out here. And I realize there's just one person to ask this, but, they said that when they pull up on Center Street, which is, you know, 114, and they're gonna turn south, when they look right there, they got those huge, maybe you've been addressed about this before,
Brian,
because of the height of their sprayers.
yeah, Brian is gonna, he's figured out how he can get those trimmed back.
Okay.
R.D. Burns asked me about
Yeah,
it.
I figured he did, he asked me about it too.
I said, yeah, we'll do some, we'll get on it, but don't expect it tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
and
and that's been a couple weeks
I
ago.
told him I didn't think, well, you know, the big question is, would we do anything about it, or is it the state's? You know, so he supposedly, there's somebody else I'm gonna talk to at the state, but he addressed the state and said that, you know, that's our problem. But yet years ago, when I had those 3 big trees in my front yard, you know, it was a big dilemma of whether I should take them down to the town because they were from the sidewalk to the road. I didn't care either way. My point was-
Typically, what we do on that is you know, if they're between the sidewalk and the street or whatever, our past policy has been that the town will split the cost of that with the homeowner.
I see.
I know I called Duke, during the winter, have them come trim that tree over that street light right there, because you couldn't see it, plus the street light was out, but they never did come.
I'll tell you, it's a nightmare anymore. Obviously, as you know, we work with Duke and I've seen all those guys. The old Duke boys that were here back 27 years ago when I started there. We could get anything done we needed done because we all worked together. But now everything's run out of Wheatfield, kinda like the Vietnam War, it's all run from someplace else in the world.
Yeah.
So the problem is you can't get anything done. And it takes an engineer, which is ridiculous, to trim a tree off a light, it's not rocket science, it's a tree limb. Get up in a bucket, cut it, it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it takes an act of Congress to get that stuff done.
I know, when we put that generator in over here last year, I think it took 9 months to get NIPSCO down here to upgrade the gas meter.
Yeah, absolutely.
They ran me all over. You know, I get the bill, I call the service number.
Mhm.
Well, no, they strung around, oh no, you've gotta call Monticello.
Yeah.
Then you gotta call Peru, and then on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, that's not the correct address.
Yeah, this Fulton doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We can't find it on GPS.
Yeah,
I called them in January because our light pole that down by the shop was leaning profusely to the
Mhm.
west. And they came out and looked at it, and they said, oh, we'll be back out to change it. They finally came out in March, probably on the windiest and coldest day, and there were 9 trucks in that driveway and 2 guys working to set that light pole.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a daggone shame.
But if you wanna check with somebody at the
I
county,
will, just because we work with another guy from the state, I was just gonna ask him, see what he thought. I told him I could cut him 3 inches above the ground after dark some night. They'd be gone. But anyway, he said that, so I'll address that gentleman, see what they say, at least where those are.
No, but I don't think
Not to be
we,
derogatory, it's just.
I don't think we have to take the trees down, I think they
No,
can
no, I
be
get
trimmed.
that, because it is state right away.
Right,
So
right.
the problem is we'd be trimming pretty high, but we can try to do what we can without.
Right, and that's what I told him we would do.
Astronomical
I
expense.
guess.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways to go with that too. That was the only high-tech new question I wanted to ask.
They could. What's the next road south there?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Val, we're gonna get these tables put up?
No, that's fine, we leave them.
Well,
Sure.